So when I got to Kenya, I got the opportunity to serve in a health clinic at the university. So we stayed at African Nazarene University. And I just kind of walked into the clinic one day. I had one of my friends from the university introduce me to this guy there named Steven, who was like the PA, he was the lab man, he was everything. And he just kind of threw me into a whole bunch of things over the next like 5 or 6 days. And while I got to do a lot of like work and organizing, I also got to have a lot of really, really cool conversations with Steven specifically. He became a really, really good friend of mine.
I think the biggest obstacle on the trip was probably just seeing the place in life that these people were in and how they didn't know about blood pressure or how their heart worked or things that we learn at such a young age, and just realizing how good we have it, and even studying nursing, how much more I want to do in the future, maybe through missions.
He asked me what I want to be when I grow up. And normally I would say like, oh, I want to be a doctor. And that was what I thought my calling was. But this time when Steven asked me, I couldn't say that I just wanted to be a doctor. I didn't even really think the words, they just kind of came out of my mouth. But I said I want to be a doctor, but I never want to be a doctor in America. And Steven looked at me and he was really confused. He was like, why would you leave America? And I just kind of realized, like in that moment, I just had a peace and an affirmation that that was still my calling. I had been following, God's plan for my life, but there was more. There was more than I could have asked or imagined.
I think my biggest takeaway is just that God is consistent in all places. He showed up for me in Cambodia more than I even would have thought. There was peace that was with me, I felt the entire time from the Lord. And also just meeting the people who are warm and inviting and exhibit so many characteristics of Christ. I think that was my biggest takeaway, was just encountering Christ even more in this place.
Probably the biggest takeaway is that I just don't want to forget the moments that I shared with the people. I learned that we're all serving the same God, and that everybody wants to be loved, and we're all called to love each other. And so I want to bring that love that they showed me over there, and I want to show that to people here in my own community.
The day before the day that I left, Steven said, I want to give you a Kenyan name, which we had kind of realized in the beginning of our trip was a really big deal. And he named me Mora, which it's actually named after a tree. The name Mora means to not easily be cut down, and so he told me that would apply in my relationship with Christ, and the way that I loved others and the way that I loved medicine. He said that is a passion and a calling that you have that's not easily cut down. And so for me, that was just like overwhelming affirmation. Also in my call to missions, just to be given that name. But I think God has just kind of shown me through this trip that there's so much more that He has for me. And so to have that willingness and that surrender, and just kind of go where I'm needed, and to just get to serve there as a doctor.